Manchester City, they're more recognised for their oil money success rather than their youth academy production. Today, that all changes as we take over the Etihad on a mission with Pep to revolutionise the club. First, by relegating them to the Championship and starting from scratch with their under-21 team. It's Wonderkids only, people. Everyone else is getting released and facing the sack. We're aiming to build this club up with some of their own talents, homegrown heroes, in an attempt to win the treble the right way, the more satisfying way, if you will, in a change that sees their starting 11 go from this to this. The academy boys aren't here to take part, they're the future, they're the next generation. I've had enough. We're giving the treble winning mercenaries the boot. From a 5-star outfit, a well-oiled machine, into a 2.5-star rating, plunged into the second tier. We're starting from the top and beginning the clean out. It's brutal, but it must be done. Someone had to do it. If they want to own that credibility that United have built over the years with their crazy youth academy record, actually winning silverware and being successful with their academy system, this is the only way we've got to go about it. Man City fans, yeah, I don't think they vibe with me. Nevertheless, I think it's an interesting concept that should be explored. As this Phil Foden situation, I've had a little bit of an inner monologue about him, and yeah, I just think it'll be too easy. Championship level, he's just going to get us promoted way too easily. However, I am going to allow us the ability to sign him later down the line if we need it. If desperate times call for desperate measures, we'll know who to call. And this is what we're left with. We've still got a couple loan players just to make sure we have enough players on the books, as Carlos Borges I've actually had to create in-game. I know he's a hyped up City Youth Academy player. I've had many requests to do a video about him, and now it's the Portuguese man's time to shine, as this is how this City side starting 11 is looking, revved and ready to take on the championship. In terms of depth, our cavalry isn't the strongest. Our backup's going to need some improvement. It's not like United where they've just got an abundance of youth talent. Another rule is that I'm going to allow us to purchase and go after some ex-academy stars from Man City that have been led astray, moved to other clubs, originally produced here at the Etihad. Considering it is our first season without all our superstar power, we're going to refrain from any transfers, but we're just going to rest on our laurels for now and focus on surviving the championship. I'm a professional Man City hater just like the next guy, but these kits they've got for next season, the 23-24 threads, are absolutely elite. They've knocked it out the park. I've got to give the design team their flowers. They're going off. We're staying 10 toes down with it. We're keeping the same tactics that Pep has applied on his actual senior squad, imposing that mindset on this youthful City side. The demons won, guys. The voices in my head took over, and we're actually here. I'm doing a rebuild on Manchester City. Call me crazy, I know, but it just goes against every fiber of my body. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Just make sure to drop a like on the video down below. I've been stressed. YouTube's demonetized me because they thought I was swearing in the last Steven Gerrard rebuild. All the United fans are going to be coming for me, and all the City fans are probably going to be offended by all the jokes I'll crack about their Tin Pot Club. It's just a lose-lose for me, but I do it for your guys' entertainment, so make sure to stick around for the video. The new look revolutionized citizens are actually performing ahead of schedule. They came through in 7th with their first campaign in the championship, only losing out on playoffs by 4 points, beating their crosstown rivals United's 10th place spot in a similar rebuild we did, so go check that out if you haven't. With 82 points, Pep is spitting right now, but over in round 3 of the FA Cup, we were knocked out to Premier League outfit Southampton 3-2, and the Carabao Cup was more of the same story, an early elimination over in round 2. Scratch that, round 1 to Doncaster 2-1. As Leicester City beat out Watford 3-0 at Wembley to gain promotion back to the Prem. We're working at God speed right now to get back up to the top flight. We've already got some youth players, fictional stars cooking in the academy, but now we'll check out this squad who has just been exceptionally dynamic. They're versatile in every regard, whether it's 3 at the back, 4 at the back. Liam Delap will score goals with 20 goals and 1 assist in 46 appearances. He's been finding success in the championship alongside Morgan Rogers, Borges on the right, and Cole Palmer, with those 4 hitting 10 plus goals. Juicy +5s handed out all across the board as Tedic off the bench with 6 goals, a 23-year-old Serbian, which we probably should sell. James McCarthy's putting his hands up to be the advanced playmaker of the team, 4 goals and 5 assists as Tommy Doyle, the promising English talent with 7 goal contributions. Wilson Esbrand at left back with 3 goals and 2. The midfield battle is entrancing with this team. Maximo Perrone, an Argentine starlet who is forcing his way into first team action with 2 goals and 11 assists. Callum Doyle, this defensive unit that can play at centre back, left back, 1 goal and 8 assists. Rico Lewis, who has just got that right back spot on lock, and it's Stogden's brother Trafford with 10 clean sheets in 41 appearances. appearances. This team are already showcasing green flags of top flight potential. Despite none of our board objectives being hit, our domestic success, they wanted us to win the FA Cup and win the league title. Obviously, none of those demands were going to be met because we went into the save with a completely different team to how we started the save. Nevertheless, Pep's bold head is going to take the second tier by storm again. Finally, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, and we can now have the power to sign players. Not that we're going overboard with it, it's more just for squad depth and to provide us a bit of cover in positions we're lacking. Pep is going to welcome back a familiar face, as I had to dig through the archives for this one. He's a young gun that was in Man City's under-21s, under-23s team. It's Samuel Edozie, who was eventually sold off to Southampton, and we've brought him back for 1.8 million. Another player that's going to provide us with a lot more coverage in a position that we're really lacking in at the moment. It's a backup striker that desperately needs a haircut. Get this lad a fresh trim and he'll be banging him in for fun. Pablo Moreno arriving from Marítimo over in Portugal for £3.5 million. A trusty backup for Liam Delap up front, and this kid's been through the ringer. He was in Barca's youth academy, Juve's youth academy, eventually was sold off by Man City on a free, and he's still somehow showing great potential. This guy was originally an Ajax youth academy product, however he was sold off to City's youth academy and he ended up playing for their under-21s, under-23s, going from Serie A now to Borussia Dortmund's second team, so he's still somehow an academy player. It's the Flying Dutchman Jaden Braaf. It was cheap as chips, an absolute bargain, sold for 1.2 million. A player that can provide us with both quality and depth in up front, centre forward / left winger, an optimal super sub option. Now say hello to Claudio Gomez, or welcome back. As you can tell, just like Edozie in his profile pic, he's still got Man City gear on. Our midfield department right now is absolutely stacked, so our plan for him is going to be converting the Frenchman into a centre back. We brought him back from fellow City Group owned club Palermo because a defensive reinforcement for this squad is exactly what the doctor ordered. Now a couple of players that were loaned out to Girona have returned back from their loan spells, and we had to get rid of them because they never really came up through Man City's youth academy, and that includes the Venezuelan Herrera, selling him off to fellow Premier League club Fulham for £14 million as he moves to West London, and the dynamic Brazilian right-sided, right mid, right back. He can do it all, but I just had to get rid of him. It just felt wrong, as young Couto will be sold off to Union Berlin for 17.6. Let's hope these reinforcements and the reintroductions of these ex-Man City stars have done their job in bolstering the squad, as we now have a roster size of 24. The academy boys and the 3 at the back team sheets are ready to do the business and do the damage. With Tommy Doyle leading them out, let's hope they can one-up themselves and earn that Prem status. Now, who let us throw down this hard? We officially become the first team in English history to have a Centurion season both in the Championship and the Premier League. The academy boys have grifted their way into a top 2 finish. With 101 points in the bank, that was enough to secure the automatics, avoided the playoffs, and with only 5 losses all season, the young citizens did it in style. Meanwhile, the FA Cup saw Leicester City and Burnley battle it out. We were knocked out in a round 4 replay to Watford 3-2, and a round 2 early elimination was imminent in the Carabao with a 4-3 penalties loss to Rotherham. We're 2 years deep with this light blue lot, and we already have a prestigious accolade to our name. The boys are bound for the big time, and it was Liam Delap's goals to get us there. 21 goals and 1 assist, but he's not running away with it. He grabs the golden boot, but players like Borges, Rodgers, and Palmer are all accompanying him in attack. They're doing their fair share of the work, carrying their weights. 4 of our best all have double figures in both departments, goals and assists, as James McCarthy, Big Mac, was our main playmaker with 21 assists and 13 goals. An instinctive 30 goal contributions for Palmer, the centre forward, who has just seen new light. At 21, they're already proving that they're Premier League ready, as Ben Knight, look at this for a record, 7 appearances and 7 goals. Rico Lewis, who's actually close to renewing his contract with City in real life, got himself 6 goals and 6 from right back, and Tommy Doyle was actually being overthrown. It's just the captain's curse. I always somehow managed to do it, as Maximo Perrone, the Argentine box-to-box midfielder, is taking away some of his playtime, and the newly converted centre-back Claudio Gomez with 2 goals and 3 from the back line. Callum Doyle, I'm not quite sure if he's brothers with Tommy, but he continues to flourish with 1 goal and 5 assists, and is Thogden's younger brother ready for the elite level. He's claiming to in real life anyways, he's just signed for Burnley. See how it feels, City fans? Like when you actually achieve success with your own homegrown players, youth academy produced talent, it just hits different. The vibes are on point, and now they get the chance to ball out in the best league in the world. Not that I'm going to rely too much on new recruits, but we've been gifted with a £33 million budget in the Prem, and for an oil-rich money club, that just seems, yeah, something's off about that. It seems shady, but we've got to do something and ensure that this team can maintain survival. To launch Season 3 in the only way we know how, I wanted to call up some fictional academy stars. I thought the time was right. They're all around that 17, 18 age, ready for a first team call-up, as first cab off the rank is the Paraguayan wingback, German Vega. He's improved rapidly with this inverted wide back development plan. He has a solid player, playmaker trait, 5-star weak foot, 64 overall, and it's going to provide us some much needed depth in a tricky position to get right, so we'll promote him to the first team. Just like yet another defender, it is Leon Muller. He can put in a shift at right back, but he's most importantly a centre back from Liechtenstein. He's only 5'9", giving off short king energy with a high defensive work rate, 5-star weak foot. Now time for a bit of Japanese influence here. Ko Fujiwara, the 18-year-old commanding centre mid with 5-star weak foot, high attack and work rate, can also play out at CDM. Another 5'9" king that is just ready to immerse himself into the first team and announce their presence. I'm starting to catch on to this trend of these academy players just all being under 6 foot. The man from down under, Sam Stacey. The Aussie's coming through with a high attack and work rate, 5-star skill moves, 5-star weak foot, 84 to 90 potential as a cam / centre forward. He is propped up to be generational, and last but certainly not least is what I'm trying to claim as the Aguero regen. Don't worry Pep, we can replace him, as we've converted this Fabrizio Luna guy from a winger to a striker. 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot, left footed, 90 to 94 potential. Forget Aguero, he might just be Messi. At 17, he'll be a promising option to introduce off the bench. That now brings our total squad size up to 29. We'll be tracking their growth and development, of course, potentially loaning them out here and there as we jet set into the Premier League with a whole new look. I can drop the news that the loan deal system chaos starts now. We want to continue this academy chain and make sure we've got long-term plans for the future. We need to successfully grow and nurture the gems up on the rise. That includes the Aussie Sam Stacey off to Huesca for a 2-year loan spell. That also includes German Vega, who'll be departing to Sarmiento for 2 years. And they're joined by this youthful batch of players who'll be spending time away. Leon Muller accepts a loan spell to Sparta Praha for a 2-year spell, just like Robertson, another Aussie, out to Huesca to join Stacey and link up with his fellow countrymen, as Ko Fujiwara will be spending a year in the championship with Hull. With a sizable chunk of our roster saying their temporary goodbyes, we were in the market for a little bit more cover. We're spicing up that midfield, implementing even more competition for the lads to fight over. It's going to be an absolute brawl in the middle of the park as we welcome back Felix Nemecha. Nemecha will return back to the Etihad, linking up with Pep, reigniting the flame as the German midfielder has joined Dortmund in real life. He arrives from Wolfsburg on a fee of 13.3 million. He's the only ex-City Academy player we could really afford in this market. He takes the number 7 at 23 years of age with gloves on, a real game face scan. He's got cold baller written all over him. Now on the United Academy rebuild, you guys in the comments below were curious to see where the actual real life players ended up after being released into the free agency, with a majority of them not finding any new clubs and just still being on the free agency, like Mahrez, Stones, Diaz, Rodri, Edison, Grealish. But a fair few have found new employment, and that includes Bernardo Silva. He's out here in Italy's 2nd division with Spal. I don't know how they afford his wages, but that's career mode for you. Julian Alvarez with a somewhat more realistic move to Celta Vigo. They've implemented a £103.5 million release clause in his contract, and a couple more deals on the realistic side. Calvin Phillips at West Ham, which would just be a perfect fit if you think about it, and Nathan Ake balling out in Serie A with Atalanta. Meanwhile, Americ Laporte's followed the bag to Mexico as he joins Tigres Unal, and quite possibly one of the weirdest of them all, KDB. How has he ended up in Serie C with Reggiana? The Belgian maestro is, yes, playing in the Italian 3rd division. We've got that league in the game, and better yet, he doesn't even crack their starting 11. It's one Doyle brother in, one Doyle out, as new recruit Nemecha takes over Tommy's spot in the center of the park, and his younger brother will be shifted out to left back. He can play there, but we'll train the kid up to being a fully fledged left back, and newly promoted youth hotshot Luna sneaks his way onto the bench. Godspeed, gentlemen, we'll catch you on the other side. Despite the average age of this squadron being about 22 and a half, these lads put on their big boy pants and braced for Premier League action, being in contention, sneaking into the top half of the table with a 9th place finish, 52 points. Finishing smack bang with a 0 goal difference, they avoided the relegation battle completely. However, they're still 20+ plus points margin to make up if they want to see any chance of qualifying for European football. Domestic competitions, this is the furthest we've made it so far into the FA Cup with a 2-1 elimination in round 6 to West Ham. As for the Carabao though, it was a similar situation and it was a round 4 loss to Bournemouth which saw us crash out in round 4. With the team now starting to take shape and the academy ballers cementing their status as generational talents, let's have a gaze at their production with our top goal scorer coming through Morgan Rogers. He stepped up to the plate with 19 goals and 10 assists, one of only 2 players to achieve double figures in both categories. Liam Delap continued his goal scoring form from the second tier into the Prem with 16 goals and 2 assists. Cole Palmer up front being that playmaker forward type player. 12 and 5 for one of the oldest first team starters as Carlos Borges. He is putting the whole country, the whole division on watch with 10 goals and 17 assists. Our Portuguese Magnifico and Big Mac, he's still running the plays in the middle of the park with 6 goals and 8. Howard Velas from the back with 3 goals and 3. Now South American wonder weapon Luna off the bench with 3 goals and 16 appearances, and the new recruit Felix Nemetcha with 2 goals and 5. Tommy Doyle took a back seat. The real face wonder kid unfortunately is getting pushed out of the squad with 2 goals and 1 assist, and we now have his brother fully converted to being a left back. Perone is taking over the centre mid spot with 25 appearances and 2 assists as Mbete, our captain, with a much improved season, proving to be a top flight worthy defender with James Trafford keeping 7 clean sheets. Now his father Rory Delap might have had his long throw trait, but we don't care. Move aside lad, because you never had a £40.5 million market value, that's for sure. At the age of 39, Scott Carson is retiring. He was just here to provide a bit of wisdom and guide the young guns to success in kind of like a player manager-esque role, and we're letting Tedic go on a free. The loan strategy is just working to a T. We are loving every single minute of this. We've got the likes of Leon Muller going up a +9, Jedeman Vega with a +5 upgrade, Stacey coming through with a +7. It is just growth galore at the moment. With that, the Empty Hat gets to see yet another season of Premier League football. As we stay afloat, we're still thirsty for that top dog status back. These lads want to be considered one of the best in the league, and we're going to continue striving towards the top in Season 4. It's right about time we start making some Premier League level signings. If we want to rightfully compete on multiple fronts and earn our spot in a European place, we're going to start upgrading with some former academy ballers that have lost their way. This guy has been removed from the game, added back in, removed again, loaned out to Brazil. It's just a constant circus surrounding this kid, the Brazilian whiz, Kaki or Keiki, whatever you want to call him. He's another one-named wonder kid from South America. We actually get to snag him from the club he's been loaned out to, agreeing the deal worth £50 million. Our brand new number 9, he's a right winger, returning to his rightful home in Manchester. The Empty Hat is looking stunning right behind him. He's returned that good already that he already commands a starting spot in the team. Perfecting his craft in the homeland, now he's ready to give Europe a shot. You already know, I've got the secret sauce when it comes to loaning out these youth. The formula, if we will, as Fujiwara will depart to Bordeaux on a 2-year loan spell, and Jaden Braff joins Brentford. The Bees pick him up on a temporary basis. And Boreham Wood fans, all 2 of you watching, the Wood Army have somehow snatched Erling Haaland on 7,000 a week. For what reason the Norwegian wants to play in the 5th tier of England, I have no clue, as Ruben Diaz has secured a deal out to China, grabbing the bag at Beijing Guan. This rebuild, this career save is just giving me all types of crazy vibes, as Kaki perfectly slots in at right wing, and this new midfield combo of Big Mac and Perone. We might struggle though without a backup keeper. Let's pray to the career mode gods that Thogton's brother doesn't get injured. That's a bridge we're gonna have to cross at a later date, but for now though, let's get it. We're ever so slowly climbing our way up the ranks, sliding up through from 9th now to 7th with 57 points. This time we actually have a positive goal difference with 10, but as you can see, I think that's Conference League football. Missing out on Europa and Champions League by some distance, but hey, at least that continental qualification is in the picture. And over in the FA Cup, we actually went deep again into round 6, losing out 4-1 to Nottingham Forest. An early elimination struck in the Carabao, as I believe it was an extremely early exit. Eliminated in round 3 to Watford 5-4 on penalties. This is the competition we're taking part in next campaign, the Conference League, where the Ukrainian side Shakhtar Donetsk take it home in the final. It's a tin pot competition, but at least these lads will be getting some European experience. Time to test their talents on the European scene, as domestically it was Cole Palmer tied up top with Liam Delap as our top goal scorer, both netting 20. It was the centre forward who edged him and got more goal contributions with 28. Forming a cheeky partnership between the two, the English have got some dynamite on their hands games, with Carlos Borges again coming through with those consistent productions. The only player this time around to get double figures in both categories, 26 goal contributions, as Morgan Rogers, you can tell the arrival of Kaki got him grinding with a +5 upgrade, 8 goals and 8. James McCarthy with 7 and 9, and Kaki in off the bench. The assistant manager actually decided to leave him out of the squad entirely, only with 16 appearances, 5 goals and 1. Luna making surprise cameos here and there with 3 goals and 3 assists. He's our answer for the next Aguero, as Felix Nemencha always proves to be useful. Rico Lewis were 1 and 6 from right back. Mbete announced himself as a serious contender. He silenced the doubters when it comes to our captaincy reigns, with a +6, now becoming one of our best centre backs at the club. And James Trafford, he struggled this time around, only with 6 clean sheets in all competitions, but who I'm most proud of, it's the lone batch who just continue to grow, get game time abroad, and return a changed product. Now we're going to have some actual use for them, like Jermaine Vega, who's returning, an absolute utility at wing back, the perfect cover. Leon Muller's going to contest for some centre back game time. The duo and the Thunder from down under are looking promising, and Jaden Braff, he's still got one more year at Brentford after his +7 stint. We're copying our noisy neighbours, the Red Devils, word for word, bar for bar. They had a generational Portuguese winger talent, we've got to have one as well. Forget CR7, because Carlos Borges now has an estimated value of 60.5 million. The academy grind don't stop, people. Pep knows what's up, we know what's up. The Man City board are probably demanding a little bit more success at a rapid fire rate, but slow and steady wins the race. At the half-decade mark, there is a blue moon rising, alright, as some of our best have been called up for international duty at the 2026 World Cup. And now with a whole new club identity and club culture, the oil money investment has dried up, and we have got pretty much £30 million on the dot every single season. Going from 200 million in the bank to what we're used to now, it is night and day. Now this purchase might throw you off in a youth academy only rebuild, but I stated the rules at the start of the video. We had free will to buy anyone that was developed in the Man City Youth Academy, and we've gone after a 39-year-old Kasper Schmeichel. He was still bouncing around at Nice, and I thought, why not? Let's just get James Trafford a bit of, goalkeeping mentorship. I'm sure the Dane would love tutoring the young kid, and he can act as our backup, a player-manager type. He's won the Premier League before, he's been here before. He's a wise character to have in the dressing room. So for £5 million, we've secured a second-string keeper. It came straight out of left pocket, like the guy's pushing 40, but it was a signing we needed to make. He pretty much spent the entirety of his teenage days going through the Man City youth system, and I'm not quite sure how his father felt about it. Nevertheless, we're using the rest of our cash to renew some contracts and sort out some admin behind the scenes as the European spotlight launches upon our academy stars. It's only taken 5 years, but boy, we're back to how it used to be. Liverpool and Man City fighting out for the title. The academy citizens running in second as Liverpool take it home with only 1 loss all season. It's a top 4 spot, Champions League confirmed, 85 points. That's what you love to see. We are looking cozy right now, as over in the FA Cup, the domestic competitions is where we haven't really shined so far, as it was a Derby Day elimination to the Red Devils in round 4, 2-1. Similar case in the Carabao, again it's round 4, and this time knocked out to Brighton on penalties, 4-3. Liverpool not only went to win the league convincingly with only 1 loss, they beat out Atletico Madrid in a 7-goal thriller final in the UCL, the Europa. It was Sporting to win it against Copenhagen on penalties, and the Conference League, it was Pep's Wonderkids 3-1 against Valencia in the final. I mean, is it really much of a trophy to be celebrating? Maybe clubs like West Ham can celebrate it, but I don't think this tin pot piece of silverware deserves a bus parade like the treble did. It's officially their first piece of major silverware, so it's something to appreciate. We've got to take the small wins in this scenario, as it's been a slow grind on our way to the top, but Liam Delap has had his first 30-goal season. Our trusty number 28 with 33 goal contributions, Cole Palmer by his side. It's like Batman and Robin in up front. They're a formidable duo, 24 goals and 9 assists for Cole, and these two madmen on the wings, Carlos Borges and Rogers, with double figures in both departments. It was an impressive 30 goal contributions for our Portuguese starlet, as Kaki has been relegated to a super sub. He's an awesome weapon to bring in off the bench, as we now have a newly crowned playmaker. He's taken the throne as number 1 assist man, Big Mac James himself, 28 assists and 6 goals. He's finally starting to come into his own. Moreno and Luna were both useful in and off the bench with 4 goals and 3. Braff out on loan at Brentford's returning next season. Nemecha had a few cameos, as Maximo Perrone is really starting to be a leader in the middle of the park with 45 appearances, 1 goal and 8 assists. With Rico at right back, it's business as usual, and in between the sticks, James Trafford now gets himself up into double figures of clean clean sheets. It's 12 for the 24-year-old, with our highest valued asset being our number 91 with a market value of 69 million. It must have felt like a lifetime to wait for City fans, but they're back collecting trophies again, fighting for the Premier League title, and have made the biggest comeback to the Champions League. Pep has made his intentions clear this window. He wants to bring back some star power and introduce an X factor for the Champions League. Phil Foden, a Man City Academy lad, he is in his prime. No club is willing to give him a go. Still a free agent like so many of his former teammates. And now 88 rated Manchester lad is available on a free. And we just got to do it for the plot. It's a must. At this point, we've just got to do it for the plot. He's going to be one of the senior leaders in the first team. And I know we already have an abundance of talented wingers, so my plans are to convert him back into a center attack and mid. Automatically, instantly becomes one of our best outfield players, and the transition is going to be seamless. It's only going to take 2 weeks for King Phil's conversion. My new plan for our system and entire team is just to go back to basics, set back to the default, and we've implemented Foden in that midfield three alongside Perrone. Palmer just takes a step back as Delap is the main striker up front. The wingers stay the same. The only change is that now Big Mac is dropped to the bench. It's a hard sacrifice, but it's worth it considering we spent nothing bringing back one of the best youth academy products out of the Etihad, potentially of all time. He's even potential new captain material, as he's going to have to face the might of the Champions League after so many years of inactivity. Foden and the gang have been drawn into Group A alongside Atletico Madrid, Monaco, and Shakhtar Donetsk. We should be making it out without a hitch. An update in our defensive department is that we have the now Paraguayan wingback who's made his name for himself and become better than the initial two we had planned. This is where it gets tricky though. This is the real testing grounds, and they understand the assignment. Pep's prospects are ready to shock the world. It's a citizen special. Man City are back on go mode, and they have won the Premier League over Liverpool, who fought to the very last day. But Pep's Blues weren't taking any of it, retaining their crown on top of English football. As we have to take a look at the other competitions, which we never really fared too well in. In round 6, we're knocked out to Wolves 4-3 on penalties. That was the FA Cup, and over in the Carabao, okay, we actually won it in a Manchester derby at Wembley in a 2-0 professional victory. That's a nice little day out, securing a cheeky double. However, did our successes domestically translate over to the continental scene? And in Group E, we just managed to scrape out on goal difference or head-to-head in second with 9 points. We came out alive by the skin of our teeth and matched up against Real Madrid. We took it to them with a 6-2 aggregate demolition. Over on the quarterfinals, it was a battle against Chelsea in an all-English affair, 4-3 on aggregate, scraping by, and we saw past the Italian giants into 4-3 again, coming up with some incredibly clutch victories to book our spot in the 2028 Champions League final, and this time up against another Italian behemoth. It's AC Milan. The big dance has set us up for a potential treble grab. Unfortunately, Mbete's on a red card and he's picked up a suspension for tonight. It's tragic scenes for the club captain, but we take a look at the rest of the squad, and our top goal scorer was in fact Cole Palmer from day one. We relied on our iconic number 80s goals with 26 and 8, and his partner in crime Liam Delap with 24 and 4. A handy little player to have in up front, and Pep cooked up with this English trident. King Phil, I think it was the missing puzzle piece. He just brought everything together with 18 goals and 22 assists, double figures for him and his compatriots Borges and Rogers. They're always up high in the ranks, we're always gushing about them. However, the Portuguese took it up a notch with 28 assists and 17 goals. These are world-class performances, people. Perrone had to take on the responsibility of centre mid, and boy did he take it on well with 7 goals and 8 assists for the Argentine. His fellow countryman Luna off the bench with 6 goals. Kaki was just a background character, there for physical and moral support. Harold Bellis, who gets starting tonight, he's cracked up to 88. These boys are cranked and roided up as the Liechtensteinian centre-back Leon Muller is forced into a start tonight. Meanwhile, in between the sticks, Thogden's brother, I'm sure he'll be there in the stands vlogging the game. He's really gained some wisdom and guidance from Schmeichel in the squad, transitioning his power to the 25-year-old, 21 clean sheets in 60 appearances. The lad that we arguably should never have released in the first place and kept along our side this whole time, Phil Foden, is the only player in the 90s overalls, and in fact, he is now our highest valued player with a price tag of 87.5 million. Pep has the chance to pull off something incredible, not only capturing a treble, but doing so in his own neighbour's backyard. It's all going down at Old Trafford, the big dance. Muller gets the baptism of fire in the back line. Meanwhile, the Rossoneri are lining up like this. They still have Leao, Benacer, also starting with the 3 Frenchmen, Kalulu, Magnan, and Hernandez. We're out here rocking that glorious golden away kit. It's beaming, it's glowing right now, and it's taken center stage to fight for the Holy Grail. Pep and the Youth Academy boys have reached Utopia, and now it's time to throw down. We all know how they made it there. Let's get this one underway as AC Milan kick off the proceedings with Dieng.
Finish him!
Oh, already some dirty action. The referee didn't even see it. He let that one go, and our attack is already flowing as Morgan Rogers ball back inside. It's the header. Why did Wonderkids do that? Oh, what a save. Trafford straight away. He's already getting tested and protecting the back of the net. That's soft, man. How is that a card? Anyway, ball inside. We get the chance for a tricky counter. Delap gets taken out. Referee's already on a yellow. Put him in his place. Is he going to deal with him? And he does. It's a red card for Benacer. It's a double yellow. And we haven't even played 20 minutes yet. Poor Delap's been taken out twice without the ball. And justice is served. He's literally just gone in for a 2-foot. Oh, it's already a tactical change as Luca Romero replaces Salamakers. A like-for-like change. So I don't know what they're thinking with that one. 15 minutes in, and we already have a one-man advantage. We are just continuing to knock on the door. Borges, our little Portuguese pocket rocket, is going to try the exact same play, and Delap. Dieng comes in, Sand sets out of position. Our defense was all over the place, but Muller with a goal-saving block. With the Portuguese running through, he's into the box, he cuts it back to square it. Delap finds Foden. Foden wants to bang it, and Magnan got a strong palm to it. Perone with the interception, back out to Foden again, and it's Magnan with an epic double save to deny us the opener. Big Mac is there taking tactical advice off Pep. What is that bald head thinking right now? He must be absolutely fuming as Borges whips this one in, but to no avail. Oh, Theo Hernandez, Rico Lewis. No, this is going to be trouble. Just like his counterpart at the other end, it's Trafford with a big boy save to deny Milan. Rico Lewis keep it in. Rico Lewis kept it in. And now Delap back on the inside to Foden. And all of a sudden, it's Cole Palmer who just misses the target. Too much power, not enough accuracy. We go into the sheds at 0-0. How has there not been a goal scored in this game? We'll never know. Perone can't win that. But now Delap back on the inside. Foden to put through Borges. He's now one-on-one with the keeper. Why is he running around the ball? Debut in our return back to the Champions League. We made it all the way to the big dance. Now Phil Foden can put through Cole Palmer. And the number 80 with the opportunity. It's a left foot outside the boot finish. He's ice cold. We were patient. We were persistent with it. And the Milan defense eventually ran out of gas. They were caught off guard. And the Cole Palmer ice cold finish, worthy of dropping the Haaland celebration. Pep can't contain himself on the sideline. Finally, an hour in, a goal at Old Trafford that could see Man City regain the treble. Here they go. Sunset whips one from distance. It was more of a struggle for Trafford than I initially thought. Now it's Delap who's failed to really make much of an impact, but now Borges, a perfect little counter-attacking opportunity. Phil Foden sees him on the left, and he continues his run. Liam Delap's got a defender on him, and oh, he deserved that. It's fresh off the paints, and the woodwork denies him of getting our second. Lorenzo Colombo comes on for Milan. He's headed that one away, and Delap needs to get it out of his feet. He fails to do so. Howard Bellis can't clear his lines. Vega get it out of there, and he does so. The Englishman cuts back inside. He's got options waiting for him in the middle. Borges back on over to Phil Foden with a lovely deft touch, and Cole Palmer's in again. Our number 80 is the real star of the show here. Sit down, Milan. Sit down, Manchester, and witness greatness unfold tonight. Phil Foden, he has the audacity to pull that off, and at the near post like a thief in the night. 10-man Milan can't handle him. He's too hot to handle. The Palmer show continues with a clutch double in the final. It had our defense struggling for a second, and Phil Foden gets barged off the ball. No foul called by the referee. And Delap now out wide. Out of everyone, he probably deserves a goal tonight. Matty Rogers, he wants to put one in the chamber of uncertainty. Borges was there. Foden, point blank range, and he's picked up an injury from his little physical contest. And surely the referee's going to blow his whistle. Milan given one last fighting chance. One last hope. Colombo back outside. Young Trafford's going to come out here, and he's been chipped from outside the box. We've gone overtime. Surely there is no possible game time left for Milan to strike again. It's their sub Colombo fresh off the bench. The Italian gets what I assume to be just a consolation, as it was the last kick of the game. We got a little bit too greedy pushing everyone forward, but a win's a win. It is what it is. And that stunning little number, those threads on City look absolutely dazzling, and I'm sure they're going to win some silverware with it next season. However, let me know down in the comments below, do you consider consider this a treble, Premier League, Champions League, and a Carabao Cup. It's not as good as what they did in real life, but we didn't spend hundreds upon hundreds of millions of pounds to achieve it. And better yet, we did it at Old Trafford. I know I'm a United fan, I shouldn't really be celebrating, but in context of this video, it adds a little bit of fuel to the fire. It's just that little extra cherry on top. Now you've seen it in real life, now you get to get a little taste of it on the BCHD channel. Phil Foden lifting up the Champions League title. He's got the captain's armband. He was the number 10, the main orchestrator at the Theatre of Dreams tonight. And if you've made it this far into the video, make sure to drop it a like down below, hit subscribe, turn on the notifications so you never miss out on any content comes to the channel. We've got some more last minute summer FIFA 23 content, some EAFC 24 news, career mode leaks, what you have. And of course, hit me up, follow me on all my socials down in the description below. I appreciate all your support, guys. Recently, it's been an absolute blast getting back into the career mode and YouTube grind. I read all your comments, I go through them all. I absolutely love you lot and you help keep me going. As always, I've been your boy Sir BCHD. Have a great day, take care, and I'll catch you all in the very next video.